It's your great character today.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Great Character Podcast. I know that was very quick. We're on episode 14, I think. This is a very reactionary episode, obviously reacting to the breaking news of the European Super League. Like, it's absolutely unbelievable what is going on right now. Obviously, you've got Nathan is a Chelsea fan, Matt, who is also a Liverpool fan. Obviously, everybody knows how passionate I am about Liverpool Football Club. Lewis, you're obviously a bit of an outsider, so it'll be interesting to see what you have thoughts on the matter.
We haven't even said hello to him.
So yeah, we haven't even said hello to. This is that quick. This is how Lewis has just come on. We're straight away going for it. So, boys, first reactions. How are you feeling? What are your thoughts? How much do you hate it? Basically,
I'm still because I spoke to you last night. I'm still speechless. I just can't speak. I don't really know what it is. I still there hasn't been anything clear really. Like once it all comes out, then I'll see how much of a shambles it is. But the first signs of it aren't great.
I'm personally still in the angry period, as you guys have witnessed. Basically, I'm still very, very much emotional over everything that's happened, and it shows how much this football club, Liverpool, and football as a whole means to me, because these plans do not truly represent the ethos of my football club. And that is the hardest thing, to know that our football club has been taken over by a bunch of people that want to franchise it. We obviously knew that money was a massive part of this game and it was getting towards a certain stage. But I never envisioned that it would happen this way. And the fact that my football club, who I thought were had owners that had good visions for the club, had brought us back to our glory days, had made me feel moments I've loved as a Liverpool fan that I haven't felt in a long time. But then they've done that. They've made us believe that way. And then they've shattered us. They've betrayed us by going into this European Super League. And I truly believe this is a betrayal of football, that all these clubs are going off on their own path. And I really think they need to be sanctioned heavily. I hope this doesn't go through, because it's devastating to the sport, to the clubs, to English football especially. A sport that was built from the working class of people throwing a ball around and chasing and fighting over a football. That is how this game began. It began in England. And the fact that obviously, like I said, money's come into it over the years. Lots has happened. It's changed. But this dramatic change is way over the line. And I don't think it should be going ahead.
Yeah, completely agree. The thing is, though, you've talked about being emotional. Like, kind of, this is a question to everybody. Are you surprised? Is it a surprise that this has happened?
I think
it me.
It's. I think because it's my football.
Like it's always like it's so sudden.
This is right. When I don't know if you guys know this. The carrot and the stick comparison. Do you guys know that comparison?
No.
Idea. So the carrot and the stick comparison is that when you've got when you've got a horse doing some work for you, bear with me, it knits back together. When you've got a horse that's doing some work for you, there's two ways to make it move. The first way, you can give it a carrot, you can be nice to it, and you can make it, and you make it carry whatever it's carrying and be nice to it and keep everything going by giving it a carrot, by giving it food. The second way to make it move is to just beat it with a very big stick. Thing is, you can then compare that to football, whereby these clubs function off money. So you can keep giving them more money and keep making everything, pretend everything's fine, and just keep rolling it forward by giving them money. But they will always want more money. So that's why this is happening. They will always want more money. The reaction should be to bring the stick in, ban them, fine them, demote them, ban the players.
Completely agree.
Because it's not the players' fault.
I don't think the players should be banned.
I don't think the player. That's the one thing.
No, from international football, I should say. But that's because that's not their fault. But that's the only way to stop.
I feel like that's so unfair, though.
With the players, though, we have to see their reaction. We have to see the manager's reaction. Obviously, the same day today, Jose Mourinho's just been sacked. There were rumours that it was to do with the fact that he disagreed with the European Super League so much he stormed. I don't think any of that's actually true. Maybe at the time I thought, wow, oh my gosh, that would be amazing if it was, but I don't think it is. I just think this has been, maybe it's a silly decision 6 days before a final.
Well, no, the reason they've done it now is so there's hopefully football fans start talking about something else instead of negative Super League, but obviously that's not worked out.
It's classic deflection tactics from Daniel Levy.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't like him, but he's a very, very clever bloke.
Yeah, he is.
And,
Very, very suave businessman.
I think we know the teams in it, right? And yes, we're not surprised. Obviously, we support teams in it, especially. I think the biggest surprises for me, they're not surprises, but the fact that Liverpool, Man United are such big driving forces behind this. That's what hurts the most. The two most decorated English teams, Liverpool and Manchester, are truly working class areas, and these obviously businesses have come in, and it's been great. I can't say that I haven't enjoyed the fact that money's been pumped into football, and I've watched Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk come in and do wonderful things for the club, because I'd be lying if I didn't say that. But then, like I said earlier, I think there's a line, and this has completely crossed it. I wouldn't want to watch Liverpool in the Super League. It's just not what football's about. And it's great. It is truly great to see all these fans uniting in the distaste for it. And I hope it goes away. I really do. We don't know what's going to happen. It seems like they've already left the ECA. All the clubs are leaving the ECA, which means they're out of the UEFA and FIFA different organizations. Like Matt said, completely agree. Demote them, fine them, points reduction, everything. They need the book thrown at them, because this isn't acceptable. I don't know why they thought it was acceptable. I guess all they thought about was money. I've even seen things
just disrespectful for everyone, really.
It is. It's obviously the Premier League is also a business. They're also business minded. So all these other organisations, UEFA, look, they're doing their own Champions League, and they're making the Champions League bigger, which is for those big teams anyway. And then we see the Premier League, all the money it has as well, and it's a business as well. The true people that are really, really missing out are the fans. You can feel sort of not really. They're the ones I really feel sorry for. The fans of these clubs and the fans of football. Football is nothing without fans. And it seems like over this pandemic, with not having any fans in the stadiums, that these owners have thought, right, we've shown we can do it without fans. We don't need them. And I think that is so painful to know that that's how the owner of my football club feels like that. Because Liverpool won't be the same if you're playing in maybe America, Abu Dhabi. You're not going to have those Scousers that go to every single football match in awe of their football team. You're not going to have those Manchester United fans that have been, and some of the Man City fans that have been through thick and thin, right? You're not going to have that anymore. The clubs are going to change. And that, to know that football is changing like this drastically right now, I'm still wrapping my head around it, as everyone can tell. That's why I'm talking so much, because I just can't believe it's happening.
I don't think we should expect stuff from the players, though. I think if they speak up, fair enough, but we shouldn't expect stuff. Like, it is their employers at the end of the day, and
same with the managers.
You can't, would you do that at your job? Exactly, yeah. Like, realistically, you wouldn't. I wouldn't
in this environment. This environment where everybody's scared of the next person above.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. The owners need to come out and say something.
The owners, it's literally all on the owners. Like I said, this doesn't represent Liverpool. This doesn't represent United. It doesn't represent City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, any of these teams. It represents the people that own them. It represents the people that have decided to do this behind everybody's back.
I think as well, that's a good point, actually, the fact that it represents the owners, because you look at who are the notable absences. Well, for a start, PSG are a notable absence.
Actually, no, I think there's another reason for that, though. Like, because they're owned by Qatar, aren't they, in the World Cup?
And they don't need money.
That's a fair point, actually. That's a fair point.
I'm guessing that's it.
The notable absences I'm thinking of are the German clubs, are Dortmund and Munich. They're majority fan owned, and that is a massive difference when you've got that fan representative at the ownership level.
You say that and I agree with most of the German things, but the Bayern one is a tricky one. They're getting a lot of praise, but I do genuinely believe they're one of those extra 315. I truly believe that. they're not just fan owned. There's a lot of shareholders in there that are behind the scenes of Bayern Munich, I think.
Yeah, but the
That
majority are owners, so fans.
But I do think there's been a lot of names thrown around, and Bayern are one of the ones. They're not the first 12, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were one of the next 3.
I disagree. I think if Bayern were going to do it, they would have done it. I think.
Well, if they're planning on having a European Super League without Bayern Munich, then they might as well shut the whole thing down, because the best club in the world, best team in the world, isn't going to be in it. So what's the point? And they say European Super
League. We could actually end up with a European Super League starting next season that doesn't feature the current European champion. Yeah.
And Arsenal and Tottenham.
Tottenham have won the league since 1961.
AC Milan and Inter Milan. I know Inter Milan are doing all right this season, but Atletico Madrid never won a European Cup. Spurs never won a European Cup. Arsenal never won a European Cup. City never won a European Cup, and they're in the Super League. Like with Liverpool and Manchester United, these businesses have used the names to come in. They've used these names to make it a franchise like in America. That's what they're doing. Essentially, they've got these big clubs with their history, and they've decided to take them over and do it. Because with Manchester City, and there's rumors about Manchester City and Chelsea not really wanting to do it, but the only reason they're really doing it is they don't want to be left behind.
I think it's less of a franchise thing. I think it's more of the without promotion and relegation. It's about ring fencing the rich. I think that's what it's about, isn't it?
But as a fan, right? Even this season, people that have watched this podcast or my videos have seen how up and down I've been about Liverpool this season. But I wouldn't change that for the world. I'd rather see us in this dogfight going for top 4. I'd rather see it in a relegation battle as well. Going for top 4 this season, which seems meaningless now, this game tonight against Leeds United. The top 4 this season, right? I was in that battle. I'd much rather that than if you're third in the European Super League, you're not battling for anything. But if you're at the bottom, you're not battling for anything. So unless you're really, truly battling for the title, then it's just a pointless league. Why would you want to watch anyone play? Who wants to see Liverpool versus Real Madrid 4 or 5 times a season? Who wants to see London derby for the times? But it's just
they are playing for a playoff in the cup. It does just sound like a weird Champions League, but just no changes. You wouldn't have like Atalanta or anything like that.
It just doesn't.
The thing is, though, the way we stop it is they have proved. I mean, I've seen plenty of tweets saying the fans need to rise up against this. The fans need to the collective action. That won't make a difference. They've proved that they don't care about the fans through the act of doing it. The way we stop it is to pressurise the broadcasters and the sponsors. We stop people like Gazprom, like Pepsi Max, like MasterCard, like whoever that car company are that sponsor them. We stop people that are doing it. And those broadcasters need to say, no, we will not cover this. They might get themselves a few PR points with people that say, oh, that company's quite good. They're honourable, even though they're not. But they just pretend for a second that they are. And that's how they stop it. Starve them of money. Because the fans won't make a difference. Sorry to say it, but a load of fans.
I do think
it won't make a difference.
But I struggle to believe they truly believe this was the reaction they were going to get. I do think they're that numb to the idea of football.
Yeah,
they thought that, it's amazing. People are going to love it. But they didn't realize how passionate against it. So I know what you mean, but at the same time, I do think the actual reaction from all of this will make a difference in the sense that, yes, they don't care.
Can't go back on it now.
Well, no, because they can be stopped, right? They
money, I think they can. I think
they can be stopped. I'm pretty sure they can still be stopped. But the problem is now football will never be the same, or those clubs will never be the same.
They've shown their hand.
They've shown what they want to do, and they've shown their hand. So if they just think, oh no, it's not going to happen, we'll all go back to normal. No, not going to happen. If that happens,
it will though,
and it shows how much power they have.
It will though. Like fans will just accept it. Like
no, but do you think
there's so many fans?
These things, the Premier League will just go as normal next season. 20 teams as normal, all the top 6 in it. Champions League as normal. Do you think that's going to happen?
Maybe if it does, it's not. It won't be a problem. Like fans will just do it.
Even if nothing structurally changes, I think there's just going to be a sour taste in the mouth of everyone. I mean, I personally can't look at those clubs the same, and that's just devastating, really.
How are you then,
Agreement.
Lewis? Because obviously being a bit more of an outsider and knowing that your club's not involved, but seeing English football being torn apart like this from the big clubs, how are you? What are your feelings towards it?
Well, it might mean that the Villa European tour comes true, but no, it's not the way I wanted it to happen
Yeah.
at all. Obviously, right now, I'm open to change, but this change is just it's changing so much history and years of something. I think it works. The whole Champions League, Europa League thing at the minute, and the way
So
that you
do I.
currently qualify. I love fighting for top 7. If we finish 7th place this season, it's going to be incredible. You know what I mean? But if these big teams aren't in it, or something wacky like that happens, then it's just not gonna.
It'll just be like the Championship, which the Championship's a great model, but it's also a great model because it's the thought of going up to the Premier League. That's why it's also a great model. And I love lower leagues as well. I watch them occasionally, and I do enjoy them. Obviously, Matt, Halifax Town, we're in the top there, and the fact that next season, without any of the big six, they deserve something. We've all agreed they deserve they deserve a heavy sanction. They don't deserve a slap on the
I
wrist.
generally think they should relegate him.
But yeah,
realistically,
I think
can they
relegation
do that
would be
though?
but that's the
best thing.
problem. These clubs have so much power.
No, but
I
like,
mean, having none of these clubs is going to be very detrimental. Same with the UEFA. All these clubs not being in the Champions League next season, it's just going to kill.
yeah, but sometimes you just obviously they're just doing it for money, but sometimes all they care about is money. Like they still have to
Well,
like they
your
just have.
question is money, Nathan.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all this
They
is.
just-
It is.
They just have to do something. Like even if it won't backfire on them because people will still support them more than the big clubs, but they have to do something. And I think relegation is probably the best.
Yeah, well, something like that. I agree that there's rumors. There was a rumor
Or like
putting them
a
down to the
massive-
National League.
actually no,
Do it.
a massive points deduction next season. So
Yeah, starting on like minus 20.
a lot of them, they would, or even more. So then they would get relegated, but people would still watch the league because the big teams are still in it. Or something
Well,
like that.
actually, I don't think all of them would. I think if they started on minus 30.
Oh no, obviously 3 teams would go down: Arsenal, Tottenham, and probably like flipping Sheffield still or something. They're pretty crap. But
I just think why bring? I know why why bring it out now? Especially number one, you've gone behind everyone
It's
back
got
to
leaked
make
in
the
it.
Super League, and then you've done it right bang at the end of the season. It's just ruined everything. It's ruined the whole season.
did it get
We're
leaked?
loving it though. We're loving it in a way because we're feeding off it. Well, look, we're doing this podcast now. It's something to talk about, but it is horrible. It's not a nice thing to talk about.
I followed Arsenal's Europa League campaign all season, obviously, and it's been a roller coaster. I love following the group stages because you get to see the youngsters, showing, which is why Joe Willock, Saka, and the likes of those have come through this season. It now feels like obviously their whole season is depending on getting Europe through the Europa League, through winning the competition. It now means nothing. 6 months of work. And for traveling to European away games in normal times, it just means nothing now. So sour taste in the mouth.
Yeah, even if like Man City, Chelsea, or Real Madrid win the Champions League this year, if it goes ahead, like what's the point? It doesn't even matter to them. They don't even care. Like it's just like
you might as well null and void the season.
One thing I would say is I've seen some things thrown around, like if you're a fan of the clubs that haven't done to Super League, you're a legend. Like I was thinking, why is the fans?
They do it. The owners would do it.
It's not our fault. Like it's
the
not
Villa
our
owners,
fault.
the Villa owners will do it if they had the chance to get into the Super League.
I'm pretty sure
all clubs would do it.
Majority of
every single club, besides German clubs.
I agree, and it's just so sad that that's what football's come to, and it's just how do we stop that now? How do we? What can we actually do? Like it feels like they're so far in on this idea. I thought when me and Nathan last night, we thought, because we're back at university now, we thought that when the announcement was going to be made, that they'd just be like, it's in the works, or it's being thrown about, or it's ideas. Well, that's what I thought anyway. It was an idea, but they literally full on came out statements saying they're doing it. It wasn't even like it's a possibility. They literally said that they're in now. They're in. They're fully committed. That's the problem now. It's not even like that. How are they, like Nathan said, how are they going to back out? How are they going to back out?
For the MLS.
I think they can. And they'll-
God, it's really taken a lot out of me this today. I mean, last night I was
kick their own kids out of
devastated.
their house. These people would kick their own kids out of their houses if it got them a bit more money.
Yeah, that's what it feels
But
like.
they're still going to go ahead with it because they don't look at Twitter. Like, they do not care. Like, as they'll get 310 million or whatever it is. Like,
Million in it, yeah.
it's just,
Surely, now
like,
surely it's not. They can't.
I think they'll
avoid-
keep it.
It's not like they're not going to see this reaction.
Yeah, but
They
they'll
will-
just ignore it. Like,
Well,
they're not going to feel the backlash. Stan Kroenke, he's been getting backlash for like 10 years. He does not care.
You're right.
how can they
Um,
take? I don't. They're
He's
taking
used
our
that
football club.
for the LA Rams new stadium.
Why can't they just make
Yeah.
their own?
Stan Kroenke's bought like every single flipping a club in every single league everywhere. He does not care about anything besides money and making
he owns like two basketball teams, a hockey
one
team,
MLS
Well,
team.
an
wife
NFL
owns
team,
the,
football team, and
his wife owns two of them, doesn't she, in America, because there's rules in America that say you can't own more than one in another market. So
yeah.
his wife owns a couple.
And
but
only
yeah,
two of them
he owns about
are
8 or
doing
9,
well. And only two of them are doing well: the Rams and Arsenal. All of these clubs
Arsenal
are
aren't
just
doing well.
as well as I know, which they're probably the best out of all his.
Yeah,
I mean,
because he
he's a
takes all the
shocking
money from the
owner.
other clubs and puts it into the Rams.
Exactly.
But
It
yeah,
is
he's a little
devastating.
scumbag.
It's just what. Yeah, I'm starting to get lost for words. Before this, I wanted to stay as calm as I could because obviously you got to be professional here, lads.
They're very
Sport.
professional
Can't say
place here.
anything too stupid, but I feel like there's a lot of people out there that feel exactly the same way as me.
I think everyone has just been like Gary Neville's thing wasn't very professional, was it? But it was correct.
It's got to be now. It's not time for that. It's time for fighting back and fighting for our game. We're literally fighting for our game now because if football goes this way, I can't see myself watching it that much anymore.
Like I
Because
say,
however much I
come
love
to the
Liverpool,
MLS.
I'll always, like I've said, I'll always love this club, but I will not support them through the venture of being in the Super League. I just can't. I won't be able to do it. And now we've just got to see what, like we've said a few times,
Well, they have two
what
different
will the
teams. Then.
players do? Because they need money, right? They don't need as much money as they're getting, obviously, but they need the money. But then, why would you? What top club could you go for? Who can afford them? Because we've got to remember they're under contract by these clubs, so that it's not going to be easy to get out. So who can actually afford them out of all these people? Obviously, Bayern Munich and PSG can. They can't take all of these clubs' players on, so it's like they're kind of stuck.
They're literally trapped. Like they're under contract. A lot of them, like Harry Kane, he won't be able. If they do this rule, he won't be able to represent the World Cup. There's no England in the World Cup. There's no way Daniel Levy's selling Harry Kane on a 3-year contract.
Daniel
even if he wasn't in
Levy's
the Super League,
English.
let alone now.
Daniel Levy.
Yeah, no, but he doesn't care, does he?
Yeah, I know exactly. That's the saddest thing. That's obviously their businesses mean that much to them that they're literally going to go through anything in their path.
Mm.
I feel like.
It's a joke.
What else have you boys got to say on the matter?
I think Andrea Agnelli, or whatever his name is, Andrea is the worst of them all.
He is
Like,
the
he-
Juventus chairman. He is.
He was the ECA chairman, and he's just been doing this all behind their back. And then he avoided everything yesterday and did this. He's a little scumbag.
We just need them to talk. We need them to come out because there's still some missing details.
Hello.
I mean, the website is absolutely pants, right? We've all seen it. The
What
marketing
website?
is awful. Like, it's just been terrible. So we need the owners to come out and say their piece. And hopefully they somehow, we just got to pray they see the light at some point. I doubt it will happen, but I just hope there's something in them. They've got some moral compass to see it. It is sad that they don't.
I don't think they do. I really don't.
They do not.
They just need to, like I've said, make their own European Super League make their own teams make their own franchise out of random names. Don't name it Liverpool FC. Don't name it Chelsea FC. Don't name it Manchester United, Manchester City.
But realistically, though, are you actually going to
something
boycott
else.
it, though?
Huh?
Are you actually going to boycott this league?
Yeah.
If Liverpool are playing Bayern, you're not gonna watch it.
I would stop supporting Liverpool.
I'm not going to watch
That's the
it.
thing.
Fundamentally, yes.
I
Weird
honestly,
fo-
it's gonna. The only thing is, I don't know what I'm going to be like when it when it starts because I love the club so much. Turning 20 years plus of supporting off isn't like that. Isn't easy. Obviously, there might be a couple of glimpses, but I've got to make sure I don't get trapped by them because it's what they want.
Exactly,
They
but like,
want us to support it and want us to have our little moment, and then we'll support it. But we can't be like that because then they've won. They've won then.
Again, that's what we do. We cancel our subscription to the broadcasters that show it. We boycott the companies that sponsor it.
But
they
the
won't. No one will.
The
Only a couple
broadcasters
people
aren't
do
doing
that.
it, mate. It's not the broadcasters. It's DAZN have got the rights for it. It's a streaming service that none of us even like have a subscription.
No, they.
Then you don't buy.
Is that
Then you don't get a subscription to the company that have got
It's
the
not.
right.
Yeah,
is that true, the zone? Because there's something about Amazon, Facebook, and Disney wanting to secure as broadcasters.
Oh, it's gonna happen, isn't it? I don't know.
Disney.
What to do. I don't know. It's 'cause as a
That
fan,
happened.
as a fan of Liverpool football, the problem is, as a fan, I won't want to watch or have anything to do with the Super League, right? But in our jobs, what we're going to go into, journalists, we might have to. We can't just turn it off, so we might end up having to monitor it.
I've just had a text from a friend who's a Man United fan. He said, I haven't seen anything on Man United's social regarding the confirmation of being in the Europa Super League. I'm really hoping it's because the social media team have locked themselves away in a room and are refusing to report it until the Glazers and Ed Woodward get out of this club.
Yeah, I hope that. But Liverpool.
Harry, so what sport are you going to be wanting to commentate on next, or whether now football's finished, or
rugby.
a different league or something?
Well, I follow a bit of rugby union.
Rugby. What about you, Lewis?
Love my cricket as well.
Mate, people used to
Women.
laugh at me for playing tennis and loving tennis, but
I love tennis. I love
mate,
to watch a bit of tennis.
that
Oscar
might be
and
the go-to one with a few
Oscar
others.
Donker and Lewis Sweeney co-comment on tennis in the future.
Right. So we've shown our distaste for the European Super League. This is a short podcast. It was just a reaction. It was just more of an outburst of thoughts, really. I probably haven't really thought this through. I've said probably a lot of things I look back on and go, but I stand by a lot of what I say, the meaning behind what I'm saying, because I feel like that's what a lot of us believe. And I hope somehow, some way, somewhere, no, that this just doesn't happen.
I think that was worse than the Super
If you
League,
ask
to be
me,
honest, that.
truthfully, do I think it's going to happen? Yes. Do I want it to happen? No. I think you three guys agree.
Well, Matt doesn't think it's going to happen, do you?
I think it'll happen now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think it'll happen yesterday before they announced it. I thought
No, none of us did. I think at that time when it was announced, it was just a rumor. It was just like one of the rumors we'd seen before. We'd seen all these rumors before, like a few months ago. We talked about them, but no one envisioned it be happening in April 2021. I thought maybe it'd be a few years down the line, something of that nature could happen. But now,
They wanted to start at the start of next season. They want to start in August 2021. Mental.
Because, if it doesn't, then technically there's going to be no season for these clubs next year. They just won't play football for a year. Because they're not going to be allowed in the domestic leagues. Surely.
Going down to Halifax Town. 50.
But there's obviously a lot on social media. Everyone's united in the hatred of this idea, basically. And hopefully it does something. Matt, being the cynic, doesn't think it will do. Obviously, I'm being a bit of a cynic.
I don't think it will do.
I'm hoping more than anything that there is change. But we tonight, Liverpool Leeds. I'll obviously support Liverpool because it's the Premier League match. It's Liverpool, but it'll be weird. I don't think I'll really have much on it. I don't think I'll really be that nervous or anything. Whereas before this was announced, I was hyped. West Ham had lost everything. I was getting going. I was really excited that Liverpool had a chance at top four, and it's been crushed. So yeah,
It's been Cup 1906. We, along with other groups involved in flag, will be removing our flag from the COP. We feel we can no longer give our support to a club which puts financial greed above the integrity of the game.
Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely.
A lot of players are speaking out now. Daniel Prudence just tweeted something, and so did Luis Figo.
Yeah, so
So
he's just tweeted the
some people are doing
ball,
it.
the song, the dream, the Zidane volley, Kaká's solo, Liverpool and Athens. I think he meant Istanbul. Ollie in Barcelona, Chris and Seedorf. There are some things we just can't really pay for it. So I'm basically saying he's on along the lines, he's talking about all these Champions League moments. And if they all go away, then what are we left with, basically?
It's just gonna feel so like flipping Bayern and Chelsea or Bayern and whoever every week. Oh no, Bayern aren't even in it. Like it's not like Bayern and PSG was the most exciting match out of every Champions League like in recent history, and those two teams aren't even going to be in it. So who cares?
Barnsley, football is nothing without fans. Agreed. BT have just brought out a statement. BT recognises the concerns raised by many of football's leading voices and fans and believes the formation of a European Super League could have a damaging effect to the long-term health of football in this country. As a sports broadcaster showing Premier League, UEFA club football and National League football, as well as being lead partner for all the home nations football teams, we strongly believe that the football makes a significant positive contribution to people's lives at every level, and this needs to be protected. Good statement. And that's a broadcaster. You wanted that, Matt.
I did, yeah.
So that's a good start.
That's a good start.
I've just seen another thing, and it's an article, and it says we're all FSG out now. And I think we all are, aren't we? Because, like I said, I've been FSG in for a long time.
Agreed.
Until yesterday. I believe that they were doing good things for the club, and they've just betrayed us all, and that's the saddest fact of everything, really. And
Well,
it's devastating.
there's a Thomas Tuchel press conference happening now, so I'm looking forward to that.
All right,
See what he says about it.
We're going to end on that note. I'll quickly edit this and we'll put it out. Thank you guys for watching. Please message us, share your concerns and your views on the European Super League. I bet you they'll be very similar to ours. We're very passionate about the subject. You missed a mini rant by me just before the podcast started to get everything out, really. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode, which might not be as exciting, but we'll try and make it so. So thanks. See ya.